Hello and welcome to today's video. On today, we're going to start talking about, again, exponential and logarithmic functions, and in particular how to rewrite if you have an exponential function into a logarithmic function, and if you have a logarithmic function, how to write it into an exponential. So it's going to be going back and forth between the two on there. So let's go ahead and throw in some vocabulary before we get started. And the first thing that we're going to look at is what are exponential equations. Okay, and so exponential are equations that are in the form of y equals ab to the x, where a is not 0 and b is a prime number other than 1. And I will jot that down for you. So again, they are equations in the form of y equals ab to the x, and again, a cannot equal 0, and b must be a positive number other than 1. Okay, so that is going to be our definition of an exponential equation. So y equals ab to the x. Now, if you'll remember, we talked about inverse functions, and we'll go more into the inverse of an exponential and showing how to actually calculate the inverse of it. But just as if subtraction undoes addition, division undoes multiplication, a logarithmic equation will undo a exponential function. And again, I will show you how to solve that. So let's go ahead and define then what a logarithmic equation is. And a logarithmic equation is equation of the form log base b of y equals x. So log base b of y equals x. And that is true only if b to the x equals y, okay? And some things that have to be true here is that b cannot equal 1. Just as above, b had to be another other than 1. And again, y must be a positive number, okay? Y must be a positive number. Okay, so remember that. So the number that is in this place must always be positive. And that's how you're going to tell whether or not you have actual equation. And we'll go more into that. Let's talk about how this is read again. So when you see log base b of y, that's how we read it, okay? So we read as log base b of y. That's how we read it on there. So be sure you're reading it correctly on there. Then when we're talking about the common log, and that's the one that is for most of you is going to be on your calculator. And so a common log is log base 10. Okay? Log base 10 of y equals x. And when you see it on your calculator, when you see it, textbook, worksheet, or whatever it is, since it is the common log on there, they do not write the 10, okay? So anytime you see something written in this form, that 10 is understood to be there. So don't forget that. It's an understood 10. Okay, we'll write that out to the side. Understood, spell correctly, sorry. Understood 10, okay? Then we'll talk about the natural log. Now, before we talk about the natural log, I want to go on down to the next step and talk about the letter E. The letter E is very similar to like the letter pi in the fact that it is a specific number, 3.13, blah, 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 and it just keeps going. Well, E is the same way, but it has a name. It's called Euler's number. And the way that it was calculated was we took 1 plus 1 over n to the nth power. And again, what happened is as n gets larger, okay, it was found that that value became closer and closer to the number 2.17828. And so we started just calling that the letter E, okay? And so, again, that's where it comes from. When we start doing exponential growth, compounded interest, and so forth, you'll see, again, I'll show you where that number comes from, and we'll actually run some numbers and show you how it gets closer to that 2.71. This is also called the natural log. And you see it a lot in biology and things like that, where we're talking about natural things in science. You might see that Euler's number appear. Okay, let's see what else I want to tell you about that. So back up to the natural log equation then, just like the common law is an understood 10, your natural log is an understood E. Okay, so in other words, log base, okay, roughly 2.71828. Okay, now we're not going to write that out all the time. And so what they have done, just like we have shortcutted the log base 10 to just log base E has been shortcutted to just ln, natural log, ln. Okay, so when you see ln of y equals x, again, what it really means is log base E or log base to that 2.7182. Okay, so just be sure you're aware of those common log, natural log, as they are special logarithmic equations. Okay, so I'm going to stop with the definitions, and we're going to start doing some problems, but we'll go on into another video so that we're not too long on videos.